Spirit of the Race Award, which is our Robin Goodman Award, who has been with Radio Le Mans, one of the founder members, and certainly guided me through my early years. General factotum. So nominations for that on Twitter to @RadioLeMans, please, and we'll compile a list. Paul Truswell, who would your Spirit of the Race Award go to?
Well, I know he's a midweek motorsport favourite, but my vote would go for Alex Brundle, because he's shown terrific spirit this race. I mean, he did a monster stint at the beginning of the race, triple stinted on a single set of tyres in that car. You know, in the heat and everything, fantastic effort there behind the wheel. But then he can speak nicely as well, can't he? He gave a nice interview to us. He was obviously in some concern about the car being in difficulties, but then was good enough to come up again and talk to us after that. The only thing you failed to do, John, was to get him to commentate. And
I know, I kept trying. Well. I did keep trying. Jeremy, Alex Brundle nominated for our Spirit of the Race Award from Paul Truswell, as we continue to watch this Aston Martin battle at the head of GTE. Nothing. Well, now they've got the Picon car between them, and Kaffer's got to be a little bit careful here not to get too far in. Who would be your suggestion for the Spirit of the Race Award?
I think he'd be a very good pick. I think Sebastian Buemi has done a fantastic job in the Toyota. He's been super fast. He's put two great stints together. Shame he couldn't bring the car all the way to the finish line, because he has been the star for Toyota for me. And those two, Jim Roller, Spirit of the Race Award, who would you have for that? Crew of the 97 car, even though the officials wouldn't let them go out. Spirit of trying to get the car back in and never giving up. Thank you, Jim. Vote for them or someone else. You've got about 10 minutes to go. We'll call that before the end of the race. At Radio Le Mans for your Spirit of the Race. Completely unofficial, but we do it every time. Hello to Jake Walder saying, will we see a more diverse grid in the GT Pro-Am class in 2014s in terms of different cars? Be exciting to see Z4s and R8s. Not eligible, I'm afraid. They're GT3 cars and not eligible for this type of racing. You potentially could see those in the GTD of the TUSC series, the Tudor United Sports Car Championship next year, because GT3 cars and to a certain extent, I suppose, GT4 cars would be allowed in that. But you could potentially see a new shape Porsche, one of these cars that are racing now, because they have to be a year old, if Porsche would release them, but they seem not to want to. Two cars going to core as part of a works operation with works drivers in the TUSC Championship over here in the Straits. But no news yet about whether there will be any customer cars for anywhere else. Yeah, that's to be determined, certainly. But these GTE battles, we see them all the way here, the battle for GTE AM, the two Aston Martins battling away. There's still Christian Poulsen just about hanging on ahead of Jamie Campbell-Walter. I'm sure Jamie wants to get past. He wants to score that car's second consecutive victory, doesn't he? Both of the cars running in the Gulf colours, though. Here is the...
8 laps, gap of 32.32.
So that's Kyle talking to Alan McNish, 32 seconds.
What I was going to say there also was that in GTE Pro, Makoviecki still leads in the Aston Martin. I think that he's going to need a splash of fuel right at the end of this race, but I think he's got plenty of time to do. He's got about 56 seconds over Jimmy Bruni. The last couple of stints, he's run about an hour and 7 or 8 minutes, and when he made his last stop, he would have needed about an hour and 15 minutes to go. I think he's cut his pace. Whether maybe he's trying to get to the end, maybe they can reach the end of the race without making a final splash, taking on a final splash of fuel in car number 99. I wouldn't want to take that risk, though, particularly when you've got a gap of a minute. Might as well make it, come in, get out, and get on with it.
The Spirit of the Race Award, suggestions from a number of people for the 95 Aston Martin, including Matthew Pig. Spirit of the Race for the 95. That car and that crew particularly have suffered the very highs and very lows, having lost one of their drivers at Le Mans, and that's a good shout as well. Hello to Louis Satterley. The compatible with everything was in reference to Ollie Gavin, not David Hennemeyer Hansen, but thank you for that. Rupert Coates said Let's go down into the pit lane as the leader in the GTE Pro is in for a splash.
99 has been splashed and it is now dashing. They had 4 new Michelins out in case the tires looked rough, but with roughly 8 laps to go, they're not even going to do it. Sent him already back out on the way and let Fred McAvicky finish this race.
Meantime, the 2 cars battling at the head of the Pro field. The 2 teammate cars have been very, very close indeed, and through has gone Jamie Campbell-Walter, Christian Poulsen. It was a robust pass in turn number 14, scene of much incident, accident and excitement this weekend. Was there a touch here as he went through? Goes to the left, goes to the right, gets to the inside. He's not there, you know, he's not at that point, but he's kind of frightened the 95 off the track. There was no contact. I did not see contact there, but Poulsen, in trying to defend, actually pushed himself, outbraked himself and sent himself wide. So Jamie Campbell-Walter gets that one. But I did not see contact there. I've got to be honest, Jeremy. I think that's going to be called clean.
I certainly didn't appear to that. There wasn't any, couldn't see any visible marks on the car of Jamie Campbell-Walter from the, we haven't really seen a close-up of it perhaps, but there was no sort of smoke, didn't seem to be in tyre rub or anything like that. So yeah, I think he just put the frighteners on him there, but it was a good robust move there by Jamie Campbell-Walter.
And I must just answer Rupert Coates here, talking about the Z4, about GT eligibility. The Z4, as we're just getting more action down towards turn number 11, and this is Porsche on Ferrari, and this is for 3rd place. This is Leighton Kobayashi at it. I know it's not because there's laps between them, so let's not get too excited about that for a moment. Yeah. It might actually have been Pele anyway, coming back through the field. The Z4 is, as runs in the American Le Mans Series, there is still some discussion about whether that car is ACO compliant and therefore FIA compliant. And depending on who you talk to, which day it is and which way the wind is blowing, you can often get different answers. And meantime, there's a slow Toyota as through goes the number 1 car in turn number 20 a moment or two ago. Looks like Sarrazin had been off the track. However, in theory, if that car is ACO compliant, then that would be fine.
24 seconds, and they are doing 2 minutes 5 or 2 minutes 6. It remains how many laps I want to know, and how many laps remaining? 6 laps.
And that is Fred McAvicky. And when a driver's asking how many laps to go, that tends not to be the best thing. He didn't want to know the gap, he wanted to know the laps between himself and Jimmy Bruni. 24 seconds the gap now back to the chasing Ferraris.
Yeah, Mako is on his out lap, so he'll lose some more time from that, but certainly he's got a comfortable advantage now and plenty of time to bring this car home to the finish with less than 9 minutes remaining.
So keep the votes coming in for your Spirit of the Race award, as Alan McNish now stretches to 35.5 seconds his lead over the rest of the field.
Well, there's the biggest gap we've seen between the 2 Ferraris for quite a long time. Number 71 now, perhaps settling for 3rd place in the class. It's going to be the Aston Martin who leads 24 seconds with the gap last time around. It'll be less than that this time. Jimmy Bruni now cementing it would appear his 2nd place in car number 51. Tom Christensen there looks pretty relaxed, pretty comfortable in the Audi garage, and Dr. Ulrich just looking around him, trying to find something interesting at this stage for his perspective. I think it's all looking good for Audi at the moment. Alan McNish has done exactly what he needed to do in this final double stint. Comes McNish across the time one more time. He's sort of cruising a little bit now. 52s, 53s the last couple of laps. He knows the end of this race is in sight. He's just got to bring it home and make sure there's nothing untoward happens. Nobody gets in his way. He doesn't run off the road. He's pushed off the road. He's going to go around the outside here of the Porsche going through turn 2. Got a clear run now through the S's. What, 6 minutes remaining? We've got about, well, maybe 3 laps, possibly 4, I suppose, to go for the end of this race.
Yes, I'm working on it being a race of 187 laps altogether, Jeremy. So we're currently on lap 184. So 3 laps to go at the end of this one. McNish at the moment, my little track map with its dots on, just coming down the back straight in the middle of sector 2.
For some reason, Kamui Kobayashi in car number 71 lost about 4 seconds on that last lap to Jimmy Bruni. We saw the 2 cars separated coming down the end of the straight. We didn't see, I don't think, why they were separated, but clearly a problem of some sort on that lap for Kamui Kobayashi. Fell back a long way. He was turned 2 minutes 10 as opposed to 2 minutes 6s or so of both Makoviecki and Jimmy Bruni. Meanwhile, in P2, it's Mike Conway coasting along. He's completed 173 laps in the number 26 ADR G driver entry. He's got a lead of just not quite a lap. Not quite a lap. 1 minute 44 seconds over Pierre Caffer in the Pecon Racing car number 49.
There's drama here, Jeremy. Eagle-eyed Graham Goodwin looking at... Is that McNish going across the line? Yes, it is. There's an issue with this car. It may have to make a pit stop. It's lost its race number. On the right-hand side, there is no race number on the right-hand side.
Kidding.
And I wonder if that will require a pit stop. We saw Toyota in Bahrain being called for that. Now, that was about the illumination on the race number in a darkness race. But the rules are very, very stringent about what you can and can't have on the side of the car. And we've seen the scrutineers be very sure about what's going on down at Aston Martin.
That would be a novel way to lose a race, wouldn't it?
Well, as I say,
3 laps to go. Your number falls off with 3 laps to go, man. How long has it been off? No,
it's been off a couple of laps, apparently.
How does the number fall
this
off?
Is well, because they're sort of on this photoluminescent panel, and it's part of that, and it's there's race tape on there. There's been a repair. Well. So drama to the end, but not of the type we would like. Now the only good news is it's on the far side away from the pit wall, so maybe it hasn't been noticed. Don't drive backwards across the start line, Al. Now, this will depend on the interpretation of the regulation and the rule, because Toyota were forbidden from going back. In fact, they were pulled in, and then because they couldn't replace their race number at Bahrain last year, they were forbidden for going back out on the track. Now, I will add the codicil that was the illumination that failed. The number was still there. Here we have no number on that side of the car.
.153.3 for Alan McNish last time around, so he's on cruise mode in terms of pace. And here comes Stefan Sarrazin through turn 20. Last time around was a 151.3, this one a 151.8, but the gap's still more than half a minute from first to second, with, we reckon, just a couple of laps to go. Yeah, he'll get across the line to start one more lap, will Alan McNish, before the 6 hours expires.
So, the number 1 car has had the bad luck today, Jeremy, no doubt
so
on
far
that.
anyhow.
Yeah, well, like Duval and Tom Christensen.
much as Jan Magnussen, his fellow Dane yesterday. A bit of a wringing of the hands. I spoke to Jan after the fantastic end of the GT race in the LMS yesterday, and he said, how did I look on the TV? I said, from your neck up you look fine, smiling and everything, but we could see you wringing your hands. He went, oh God, was that in shots? I went, yes. So Stefan Sarazan with the gap now at 30 seconds, now in fact going out to almost 32.
A couple of fast laps there from a couple of GTE Pro guys. Both Kobayashi and Ricard Leitz both turning laps in the 2:03s. It's pretty impressive for this stage in the proceedings. They're running third and fourth, not in a battle on the road at the moment, but although Kobayashi is once again closing in on Jimmy Bruni. The gap went out to 4 seconds all of a sudden on one particular lap about 3 laps ago, and now the gap is down to less than 2 seconds between Bruni and Kobayashi. Ricard Leitz is about another 1 minute behind in the best of the Porsches.
Must just have a correction. Dindo Capello down in the pit lane with former teammate Tom Christensen. We've just redone the arithmetic, and I apologise. It was never my best subject. The Audi cannot win the Manufacturers' Championship today. It might be unlikely that they would lose it, but mathematically, or arithmetically at least, because it's only addition, it's not quadratic equations by which this is measured. Arithmetically at least, Toyota 1-2, with the Audis not finishing in the next 3 races, could still heave the championship away from Audi, so not quite able to pop the champagne corks down at Team Audi Sport Jost. Unless there's going to be some there for us. This is the final lap of round 5 of the FIA World Endurance Championship. And after a disastrous race in terms of luck, Loic Duval, Tom Christensen and Alan McNish behind the wheel of the car now have bounced back in the best possible way. And the news for them is good on all fronts, because the Toyota in second place will rob their teammates of some championship points across the finish line right in front of us, and they have won it. McNish celebrates with both hands off the wheel. Tom Christensen and Loic Duval are congratulated by Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich, the head of Audi Sport, and that means that the reigning champions now do not have the fate of the championship in their own hands. Even if the one car takes every single pole and win to the end of the season, it will not be enough to usurp their drivers, their fellow drivers. They have to have Toyotas between them or some misfortune befall the number 2 car. And what a good finish for Toyota Hybrid Racing in second place. Might have been slightly undone by the safety car at the head of the race. Their advantage maybe could have been more in terms of fuel consumption. In P2, we're waiting for Mike Conway to come round in the 26 Oregon G-Drive Nissan. Pierre Caffer keeps the PCOM championship run alive. Let's go down to that's twice I've done that in 2 races. Bruno Senna, whose co-driver Fred Makovic has just brought the 99 car through, and that's brilliant. A win.
Bruno Senna, mega win here today. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's been very, very tough. Definitely not a straightforward race for us, and Ferraris are pushing us very hard. But it's we're finishing front, and that's all that matters. So let's go and enjoy it now.
Very good.
And Jeremy, that was a bit rude. You do know your way to the podium, don't you? It's not been that long since they've been up there, really. And across the line comes Mike Conway for Roman Rusinov and John Martin in the
G-Drive Racing, Oric 03, Nissan, and that really makes a difference to the LMP2 point standings, Jeremy.
Second win in a row for that car, that team, and how costly now is that disqualification from Le Mans, because they would be right in the thick of the championship chase. It will be, I believe, Bertrand Baguette, Ricardo Gonzalez and Martin Plowman still holding on to the championship lead after this weekend, but their gap was 14 points. It's now just 3 points over Luis Perez-Compont, Pierre Caffa and Nicola Menacio, finished second today for PCOM Racing. Just 3 points to margin in the LMP2 Drivers' Cup.
The GTE Pro won by 99, Aston Martin, with Jimmy Bruni going to, I think unofficially, the head of the Pro category for GTE in the 51 car by finishing second, courtesy of the 97 car not getting any points. The former leaders, the guys who led coming in here. And indeed, Jeremy's just doing the addition at the moment. Stefan Mucker and Darren Turner not able to score any points today. In GTE Arm, Jamie Campbell-Walter nicks the victory at the end from the 95 car of Christian Poulsen. But Aston Martin first and second with the Porsche 76, the IMSA Matmut Porsche. Raymond Narak at the wheel at the end in third position. Should mention Kamui Kobayashi in third place for the 71 AF. Let's have a quick word with John Martin. He should be one happy Antipodean.
John Martin, you are one happy person right now. You went from the pole to the victory lane. How good does this feel?
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome. This is 2 weekends in a row, I think, perfect weekend. So it's yeah, it feels really good. Hopefully we can just keep this going on for the next few rounds. It's it's amazing. Team's done an absolutely awesome job all weekend. So yeah, we've been fastest in every session. I think it's been amazing.
Big smile on his face. He's ready for some champagne.
Let's have a quick look with Jeremy Shaw at some of the other points. The GTE Pro, how is that shaken out, Jeremy? What have you got there for me?
GTE Pro, 99 points now. Jimmy Bruni and Giancarlo Fisichella will lead by 3 points over Mark Lieb and Richard Leitz. Stefan Mucker and Darren Turner will slip to third place, scoring no points today on 86 points. So 99, 96 and 86. In GTE AM, also a change of leadership as a result of this afternoon's race. The second victory in succession for Jamie Campbell-Walter and Stuart Hall will take them into the lead of the GTE AM World Endurance Trophy. 95 points to the 91 of Raymond Narak and Jean-Carl Vernet, who finished third this afternoon. And
not a winner on the track, but a winner with the RadioLeMans.com and FIA WEC viewers and listeners. Alex Brundle, overwhelmingly the Spirit of the Race award for his Ironman stint at the start, and then with the interview here. Here's Alan McNish.
Surprised, to be honest with you. They could double stint the tyre at the beginning when we couldn't. That meant there's a 25-second per stint loss for us in that respect, so we had to wait until the end before we could actually achieve the same thing. But the car was faultless. It ran really well. The guys set it up extremely well considering we had such a lack of practice time, and I'm very, very pleased.
Not bad for an old man. No. Hey, oh boy.
Alan McNish being congratulated by Marcel Fessler and then by his teammate, his car teammate, Tom Christensen. So Alex Brundle getting the Spirit of the Race award, the Robin Award. It is purely unofficial, voted for by viewers and listeners to the broadcast. For those of you here at the track, Jonathan Green will be taking you through the podium celebrations in a few moments' time. My thanks to everyone here at the circuit of the Americas for making us feel so welcome and for the assistance in getting us on the air. We'll turn the PA system here back to the guys locally so that we can get the podium ceremony started as quickly as possible. But of course we will continue for our international audience. So Jeremy Shaw, thoughts on that 6-hour 5th round FIA WEC race?
Great fun, actually. I think it was a very interesting race. Toyota certainly kept Audi honest today, but Audi had to push really pretty hard. You could see that all three drivers from the Audi kind of a two had to work hard for this one. It wasn't an easy pickings at all. They had to set a really fast pace. As Alan McNish said, they were giving up 25 seconds pretty much at every pit stint. So that means they had to pull out at least a second a lap in order to win the race. That's what they did, and that's why they won.
Some decent racing, Paul Trustwell, and it kept us going as far as trying to work out the strategy. Would it have been much different for Toyota if it had been green all the way through, not without the intervention of that safety car early doors?
In the early 3-4 laps, I don't think it made any difference at all. I mean, the only slight difference it would have made, of course, was in the fuel consumption. But I mean, overall, Audi had it, as Jeremy said, they had it on the pace, despite the kind of the reverse situation. I mean, we did the same at Le Mans, didn't we? We had the reverse situation that we're used to, where Audi is able nowadays to run very, very quickly, but they use more fuel in so doing, and that means that they have to make up the ground on pure pace alone. And that was what the three of them did. I mean, it was a team effort. I mean, undoubtedly Loic Duval did do some very quick laps in that middle double stint, but Alan McNish and Tom Christensen in the later stage of the race also extremely quick indeed. And in the end, if anything, I mean, it was very honest of Anthony Davidson to admit it, but he wasn't quick enough in the point where it mattered. And he gave his reasons why. He didn't have enough track time, he didn't have the experience, and it was those few slow laps from Anthony Davidson that suddenly changed the complexion of the race. And it all came down to the pace of Christensen, Duval and McNish in the end. Great race for the lead, but as always, you know, we had the battles in the classes as well. Macavici, I reckon, was just one lap short on that fuel. He's gone having to make that extra stop. But I reckon that if the race had been one lap shorter, then he would have been able to do it on 4 stops. In the end, it was 4 stops plus one very quick splash and dash for the Aston Martin number 99. Didn't make any difference in the end, of course, because he still won the GTE Pro class.
Yes, thank you, Paul, for all of your hard work back in our walking data centre there. We'll let you get away and speak to you in the very near future. Hard work by all, and thanks to the family for letting you off this Sunday evening to talk to us. Thank you.
Very welcome. Look forward to it.
It's Paul Trustwell back in the UK. Jim Roller, and we'll await the return of Shea Adam. We can't get any interviews from her because they need the radio mic. In fact, Jonathan Crane is already speaking on the podium. I did want them to get started quickly. There's a lot to get through here, but I'm sure Shea is on her way back. We'll have a word from her in a moment. Jim Roller, you saw the start of that race. The major incident, the first corner, of course, was almost expected, but what do you make of the rest of the 6 hours of Austin here?
Well, it only takes 2 cars to make a motor race, and we had a really good one between 2 cars at the front of the field today. The 2 and the 8 were so close on pace. Yes, Audi had the advantage, but it made it very interesting, and the fact that, as you said, it was a classic because you had the Toyota's trying to do it on fuel economy and the Audi doing it with pace, and you can't beat speed. Speed kills. And in the other classes, it was fantastic, and in many cases, it was a 2-car battle.
Well, the overalls coming up onto the overall winners coming up onto the podium, along with the privateer P1 winners, the Rebellion guys, and it's Alan McNish with Loic Duval and Tom Christensen who will get the plaudits of the crowd, and they look very, very happy with this. Massive championship implications after the disaster for them at Sao Paulo, but now the fate is in their hands because all they've got to do is keep coming second to their teammates and the World Championship will be theirs. Let's have the national anthem of the winning entrant. Popular winners down in the pit lane. A small but vocal crowd are down there. And the podium presentation still to be made.
Tudor watches.
Yes, Tudor watches for the winners. The official watch partner of the World Endurance Championship, of course, coming on board as the principal title sponsor of the TUSC, the Tudor United Sports Car Championship for next year, adding the T to TUSC. Oh, they're nice.
Oh, yeah. Is that presented by Fleetwood Mac?
I tell you what, I like those. They are. Yeah. I do like the sports straps on those.
I like the case too.
Yeah. Have to see if we can wheedle that out of McNish later.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah, I know. So the trophy sponsors, Pierre Fillon, the president of the ACO, doing the trophy presentations. To Rebellion Racing for the P1 privateers, and Monsieur Fillon will. Marcel Fesler, Treluet, Ben Treluet, and Andre Lotterer.
Ooh, one of the champagne corks just popped and hit Buemi in the face.
Oh. Frankly, injury on the podium is an injury you'd take, though, isn't it? Anthony Davidson, Stefan Sarazan.
Accidentally got one of my dogs once.
And Sebastian Buemi, Christensen, Duval and McNish. And Ralph Hüttner is up there as well. Well, of course, our full session coverage on RadioLeMans.com of the FIA World Endurance Championship continues for the last 3 flyaway events. Bahrain, China, but first we go to the land of the rising sun and to the Mount Fuji circuit, scene of a famous victory by Toyota last time around. This time last year, as Alan McNish drops the champagne down to his mechanic, who catches it very nicely.
Yeah,
That's
nice
not
catch.
that is not.
You don't want to drop the mum.
Ooh, not easy to do that. Oh, yeah. Cordon Rouge. Mum, let's confirm the results for you then. 23 seconds, the margin of victory at the end for Audi number 2 over Toyota Racing number 8, with Audi Sport Team Jost a lap further back after their trials and tribulations this weekend. Rebellion Racing 4 laps down, but winning the Privateers Cup. G-Drive Racing taking the honours in P2 ahead of the 49 Picom Orica and the 32 Lotus getting on the podium as well. That's a great result for them. Aston Martin Racing with the 99 car taking GTE Pro ahead of Ferrari's 51 and 71, and in AM, Jamie Campbell, Walter and Stuart Hall go to the top of the drivers' standings in that category by beating the 95 Aston and the 76 Raymond Narak driven Porsche in the thirds.
The next race of the WEC is in Fuji.
Elevation change. Quick left.
Speed.
Come and see us. Fuji スピードウェイで会いましょう。
So in the Drivers' World Championship, Alan McNish, Loic Duval and Tom Christensen have 138 to 105 of Lotterer, Treluet and Fesler, with Sebastian Buemi, Anthony Davidson and Stefan Sarazan further back down the field. We get back Nicolas Lapierre, Alex Wirtz for the next round of the championship.
the P2 drivers further down the field. Didn't realise that many drivers had scored points this weekend, if I'm honest. Quickly before the next podium, Shea Adam has joined us from the Powered by Nissan pit lane. Your thoughts on what we've seen?
I thought it was a brilliant race. It was very clean. We only had one safety car, and that was right off the bat for a car that had spun. No major shunts, which is always a relief to see coming into a weekend like this. It's always a worry in the back of your mind, but we can say checkered flag fell and all the drivers are safe, and that's a victory in everybody's mind.
Thank you for your hard work. Was the temperature just toasty enough for this Florida native?
I'm hardly even sweating. I thought it was great out there. It was dry, a dry heat. I'm sure that many people would disagree with me. I saw people dripping, but no, it was beautiful race conditions, and hey, if it's going to be like this next year, then excellent.
Thank you very much, Shea. As we move to the presentations for P2, and it is the 26 G-Drive Racing Orica, Roman Rusinov, John Martin and Mike Conway who get the win. And here is the Russian national anthem.
Congratulations to G-Drive Racing and Vice President of the Circuit of America's Christmas and prizes.
So the trophy's about to be handed out. G-Drive have got their own flag up there. Assistant manager of the Circuit of the Americas handing out the trophies. Bib Endham looks good for 104 years old, doesn't he? I think he's lost a bit of weight recently, if I'm honest. So third position for the Lotus number 32, and they came well through the field. Thomas Holzer, Dom Kreheimer and Jean Charouz. Second position for Pcom Racing's Nick Manassian, Pierre Caffer and Luis Perez Compang, and the G-Drive Racing trio of Mike Conway, John Martin and Roman Rusinov. Normally if you start a sentence with an Englishman, an Australian and a Russian, there'd probably be a punchline at the end of it, but they just... Now that's much better Champagne Spring. We have had a little bit of premature corkage in the heat.
Let's hear it once again for the LP2 class winners.
Jonathan Green on the podium, and confirming then that G-Drive take it by a lap from Pcom, with Lotus a further 3 laps back in the standings. Delta ADR just failing to get on the podium in 4th position, but it's the Oak Racing trio in 6th, 7th and 8th that makes the difference in the championship standings. The Lotus 31 not getting past the first corner with James Rossiter at the wheel, and not his fault, I would say, to that. So there is the new standings, with Bertrand Baguette, Martin Plowman and Ricardo Gonzalez leading the points, but now just by 3 back to Pcom. That is a massive, massive turnaround for those guys, and Pcom are now right back in it.
Right in it, right back in it. It's going to be a dogfight right to the end.
And the teams, obviously...
Pcom takes the lead.
Pcom going ahead in the teams. the team's classification, the 2 walk cars being classified separately there. It's been a fantastic experience here at the Circuit of the Americas in this super endurance weekend. The American Le Mans Series providing the perfect aperitif yesterday to the full house entree, if you like, of today. Maybe the appetizer and the entree.
What's our after dinner drink going to be?
Well, yeah, okay. Lots is the answer to that. And still the image of the day, the Audi with all 4 wheels off the ground and the pit lane fire from the Porsche. And Porsche need to have a look at that, of course, because that is an overfill issue. It was laying all around the scuttle panel and then clearly
kept
dropping
reigniting.
down. Yeah, that's why it kept reigniting. That's why they were trying to blow it off.
Yeah, the happy yes.
All good news for the number 2 Audi crew, who now once again have the championship, the Drivers' Championship, in their own hands. As their major competitors, the number 1 car, even if they win and take every pole position now, cannot overhaul them. If the number 2 car keeps coming second, it would take something worse to befall them. GTE Pro then, 3rd place for the 71 AF Corsa team, 2nd place for the 51 AF Corsa team. We'll see the championship implications for that, but winning here at the Circuit of the Americas, Fred Markovici and Bruno Senna.
Number 1 mechanic Callum Bruce.
Callum Bruce, the number 1 mechanic on the number 99 car, coming forward to take the team's trophy.
Dominant victory.
Yeah, it's very good.
Dominant.
They went longer and they went faster. And the national anthem of the winning entrant, of course, being the United Kingdom. Given his driving record, that's only the first win this season. That is the first win for Fred Markovici, 2nd for Bruno Senna. And the distinctive trophies being handed out first of all to 3rd place driver. And once again, the champagne corks popping slightly early.
It's sitting in the sun.
Yeah, exactly. So congratulations to the 71 team of Kamui Kobayashi and Tony Vilander. What a comeback from Tony Vilander after having a fiery exit from Sao Paulo. The duo of Jimmy Bruni and Giancarlo Fisichella are becoming a real force now and settling in together at AF Corsa. And our winners, Fred Markovici and Bruno Senna, celebrate in the middle of the podium. A reminder, if you're watching on FIA WEC, that all sessions are covered on radiolemans.com, and it's qualifying and the race live from Fuji on FIAWEC.com without interruptions, exactly as you've seen the whole 6 hours today and the whole of the qualifying this weekend. There is the result. Aston Martin racing by 15 seconds at the end, and the 2 AF Corsa cars ran close towards the end, but going the right way in terms of the championship. And we'll see those points in a moment, with Porsche, the best of the Porsches, in 4th position, just about 3/4 of a lap back. The 91 car fighting back after the fiery moment in the pits, and neither of the 2 other Aston Martins classified. So that's what it does to the points, with Richard Leitz for Porsche in 2nd now, with Mark Leib, but 3 points behind Giancarlo Fisichella and Jimmy Bruni. So very important that they got that extra position, with Stefan Mucker and Darren Turner dropping 10 points away from the leading drivers. It's 10 points to the gap between AF Corsa
Porsche AG team Manthey at the head of the team's classification, back to Aston Martin Racing in third position. And the F Corsa, with 75 points, are not out of the running either, particularly if they can put a decent run together and get both of their cars towards the front of the fields.
And AF Corsa, of course, being the professionals that they are, were able to work out getting the 51 car into the proper position without making it look ham-handed.
No extra pit stop required?
No, exactly.
Oh, it's just how it's turned out at the end. So the final podium celebrations are that for the Le Mans GTE amateurs. This is at least one silver or bronze driver. And the IMSA Performance Matmut Porsche, the 76 car team, comes on to the podium first. Aston Martin Racing, Christian Poulsen and Nicky Team, and Christopher Nygaard, the all Danish team, and Jamie Campbell Walter for the 96 with his teammate Stuart Hall. So for the second time, we get to hear the British national anthem. I think they've enjoyed that victory. I'm just saying, just an observation. Top step of the podium again for Aston Martin, and 2 steps of the 3 going to Aston Martin Racing. And now the British national anthem once again.
Well done, everyone. I'd now like to call on Pierre Fillon.
And once again, it's the president of the ACO, Pierre Fillon, who will make the presentations to the GTE podium sitters, or standers as they are. And first of all, the IMSA Performance Matmut team of Raymond Darac and Jean-Carl Vernet. Jean-Carl, of course, no stranger to being over here in the States. I think he was an Indy Lights champion.
Yes, yep.
Jeremy Nord's sagely behind me, so I do pick up something from hanging out with you. Reserve driver for Peugeot, of course, a few years ago. And perhaps might have thought his future was in prototypes. The Danes have got their trophies, as have Jamie Campbell Walter and Stuart Hall. This is going to get messy. Stuart Hall was joking with me that they only got in at 4 o'clock this morning.
Oh boy.
And that a couple of hours in what accounted to be a sauna would be a nice hangover cure. Nice. He was joking, dear listener and viewer. However,
ooh, easy there.
And sorry for the language there. Somebody got hit in the eye with a champagne cork. 1.7 seconds at the end. The 96 car stealing through in the last 15 minutes, and just under a minute ahead of the Porsche. 8-Star Motorsports, Enzo Podalicio's outfit, a lap back, and still not happy at the balance of performance between themselves and Aston Martin Racing, and the best of the Porsches down in 5th position. What does that do to the points? Well, it sends Jamie Campbell Walter and Stuart Hall to the top of the Drivers' Championship. It's called the Endurance Trophy for GTE, and they've got 4 points on Jean-Carl Vernet and Raymond Darac, so those guys getting on the podium, very important. And Enzo and Rui Aguas sitting in 3rd place, 79 points, not out of the title hunt yet, but it's getting more and more difficult for them.
And the thing it's impressive to me is every one of these championships is within 5 points. This is going to go all the way down to the finale.
And just 8 points between Aston Martin Racing and IMSA Performance Matmut, the little team from Rouen. Quite remarkable that they're there with the might of Aston Martin Racing. 8-Star Motorsports are only down on 87 points, so it's very tight indeed. As we head off and pack our bags, get our